You don't get what you wish for, you get what you ask for. I asked my brain the wrong questions for 25 years until I realized that there is a real science behind how you ask questions to your brain and how you can get anything you want. It's literally what they call manifestation, but there is actual neuroscience behind everything that you tell your brain. I am Nadia Minds and have read thousands of articles and books on neuroscience, and in today's video I'm gonna break down the 5 brain systems that activate every time you ask a question, which means that you're gonna get the formula to get anything that you want. And while you're at it, please subscribe to the channel, comment and like, because I really want to know your opinion. Ask and you shall receive. This is what Neville Goddard said, which is the king of manifestation. It sounds simple because it is, but most people never ask clearly, boldly, or consistently for what they want. Therefore, asking is not just a mindset, it's a neural mechanism. So for example, if you say, I wish for a car, a new car, I desire a car, it's gonna stay a wish if you don't ask yourself the right questions. How can I save up enough money to buy the Honda Civic that I always dreamt about, for example? Or how can I make more money so that I can buy this specific car? These are the specific questions that you need to train your brain with. It's not just, I want a car, I want a house. What kind of solutions, what kind of house you want? When you ask, you activate powerful systems in the brain that start aligning focus, decisions, emotions, and behaviors with your goals. We're going to explore how. Basically, asking activates your reticular activating system. The act of asking gives your brain a target. And this system is a network in the brainstem that filters the billion of bits of information you receive every single day. And once you ask a question, especially a goal-directed one, your reticular activated system gets activated to notice and prioritize information related to the question. For example, you ask, how do I start a YouTube channel? And suddenly you notice tutorials, equipment suggestions, or someone who can help, not because they weren't there before for you, but because now your RAS is filtering for them. And it happens pretty much with everything. So I would love a burger, and then you start seeing McDonald's advertising, and you think that your phone is listening to you. Probably it is, but your brain notices it. The second system activated is the prefrontal cortex, because questions are mental GPS systems. So basically, the prefrontal cortex is the brain's executive center responsible for planning, decision making, and goal setting. So when you ask a specific question, how can I earn 5K, 10K, doing a certain activity, you create a cognitive map, a mental representation of your desired future and of your desired future self. This map allows your brain to simulate future outcomes, and you start visualizing your future self earning that kind of money, or doing a certain thing, or losing that amount of weight. So it's gonna start evaluating pathways. What can you do? Start looking on YouTube, finding solutions on Google, asking a friend, and selecting the most efficient actions. So if you ask vague questions like, how can I make $1 million? It's not going to be helpful. If you ask specific questions, then it's like a GPS route to action is created. And that's when you're going to start finding the right solutions, setting the right goals, the right milestones, and the right actions to achieve something. Ask with faith, believe it's possible like a child, okay? When you believe in a goal or an outcome because you ask yourself the right questions, your brain activates the dopaminergic system, okay? This system releases dopamine, which acts as a motivational fuel. Belief boosts dopamine, dopamine boosts motivation, and motivation boosts action. Okay. And just like children believe freely, they experience higher level of dopamine driven curiosity and creativity, and they believe they can do anything. That's why they are not scared of falling or hurting themselves or going into troubles. It's because their prefrontal cortex has not developed yet. Okay. That's why in adults, there is a problem. We suppress this system where we just believe, because we overanalyze, we overdoubt, we overthink things, and this activates the amygdala, the fear anxiety center, shutting down creativity and risk taking. And that's the problem of most adults right now. And I had this problem as well, where we don't take action because we fear what might happen. We fear to receive a negative emotion, embarrassment, risk. Because remember, your brain is an old program, is a machine, is a computer on an old program, is still like in a prehistorical situation where we were supposed to hunt and to just protect ourselves from cold or from heat or from animals, and it stayed there, like our brain is kind of stayed there, and right now we have to rewire it and reprogram it. That's why it's very important to work with your subconscious mind, to make an effort so that you can reprogram your brain so that it works on a different program. And why it's important to ask yourself the right questions? Because the brain doesn't like vagueness, okay? When you define a goal clearly, I want to gain 5 kilos of muscle by November, the brain encodes that as a measurable target. And it's like, okay, how we can work this out? And then it's going to work with the subconscious mind. So this target gets stored in the prefrontal cortex for long-term planning, for in the anterior cingulate cortex to detect conflicts between current behavior and your goal, and the basal ganglia to build habits aligned with the goal. Okay, the clearer the goal and the question, the easier it is for your brain to form habits and notice alignment and misalignment. Ask daily, act daily. Okay, this is when your brain rewires itself based on repetition and attention. It's a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. When you repeat the act of asking, visualizing, believing, and acting toward your goal, you're literally strengthening the neural circuits associated with that goal. So you're making your brain work to find even more solutions. So neurons that fire together wire together. So the more consistent the ask and the action, the stronger the behavioral wiring becomes. So neuroplasticity is very important, especially when you are trying to make some mindset shifts about your confidence, about the relationship that you have with money or with love. And basically, I have a friend. He's an entrepreneur. He makes 10K to 20K a month, so he's doing well. But he has the goal of making 50K. So what he does is that he writes every single morning before starting his work, I want to make 50K by the date by using the following strategy. He writes his goal down and the actions that he's going to take during the day to get to those goals. By the way, I have a video on how to achieve your goals by building systems. You can find it probably in the link somewhere here when I'm going to put it, or I'm going to put it in the description below. And this is what's going to help you manifest, literally create your dream life, literally achieve that goal and that desire that you want. You ask and then you receive, but you need to ask the right questions so that your brain will work with you and not against you. You are your consciousness, okay? We are our consciousness, and our brain is just a machine. Remember, the brain is programmed with a old program, it's outdated. Right now, with neuroplasticity and by understanding the brain, we can train it so that it follows our rules and what we say. And this is what I talk about on Nadia's Minds channel. And this is what helped me get from scattered, chaotic, overthinker to enter my new self era by understanding my brain and how it works and how I can get things. I wanted to build muscle. I managed to build muscle by asking the right questions to my brain. Right now, I'm addicted to the gym, for example. I cannot skip a week without going to the gym, even a day sometimes. I have to replace physical activity with another physical activity. So, this is what happens. You get addicted to the right things by asking the right questions, and then you're going to get whatever you want. This is how it works. Try this experiment for 90 days. Ask yourself the question, what do you actually want? And then you set specific goals. And by the way, I have a free template. If you want to build your system, you can find it in the link below. You're going to set the goals to achieve your ask, okay? You're going to use your brain and visualize those goals as done. And when you start visualizing, your brain will try to give you this GPS to find solutions on how to get it done, to give you that motivation, that dopamine to get started. And then every single day, by repetition, that's how your brain rewires itself. You're gonna read your goals, you're gonna write them down again if you need it, and then you're gonna list the actions that you're gonna take towards that goal, even if it's just 0.5%. If you have a goal of losing weight, just going for a 10K walk, it's already a good action to take towards that goal. And every time you have those limiting beliefs, oh, I can't do it, I will not continue, I will just give up, then catch them, write them down, and reframe them. Okay, for example, I'm too tired today to go for a run. Okay, I'm too tired, that's fine, I can go for a walk instead, or I can do a home workout instead. But try to catch anything that will be an obstacle and write it down. If you're in a bad mood, you might as well still do that action that you hate, because then it gets your brain working despite the efforts that it will imply for him. If this helped you understand how your brain actually works, then please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to hear about your desires, your asks, and your goals for the next 90 days. And I hope I see you in the next video. Bye. By the way, your brain is ready, but are you even asking?